Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sumner County Sports Show. I am your host, Blaine Kellar, sports editor for the Portland Sun, Gallatin News, and Hendersonville Standard, bringing you everything you need to know about high school sports here in Sumner County. We've got a great episode planned for you today. First, I think in not only Sumner County Sports Show history, but I debate a lot of the other shows that our company, Main Street Media, produces. Typically have one guest on. We typically start the show with one guest, and that's great and all. But whenever you've got a match coming up like Hendersonville and Station Camp for soccer, you've got to bring both in. And fortunate enough today to bring on Hendersonville head coach Alex Tummins and Station Camp soccer coach Jeremy Cook. Tummins there in the middle, Cook there on the right. Coaches, thank you so much for your time today. How are we leading up into Friday's game?
We're good.
Hey, Blaine, thanks for having us.
Really excited to have you guys on today, and just a couple of minutes of your time here before that huge game. I'm sure you guys have really been game planning all week. I wanted to start off by asking about the connection that maybe you guys have with one another. Of course, over the past couple of years, you guys have played each other in some huge games, some big games to determine not only district, but some region championships as well. Is there a connection between you guys outside of those couple of matches you play a year?
Well, yeah, I've known Alex for a long time. Actually coached him a little bit when he was younger. Just puts me my age a little bit up there. But Alex was a great player when he was around. I always respected him. And, of course, knew him when he was coaching with Coach Plummer, too. So we've had a long-standing relationship with each other.
Yeah, I've known Jeremy quite a long time. Like he said, he coached me for a little bit in club when I was a little bit younger, and then knew him obviously when I started coaching with Coach Plummer when Jeremy was at Beach and did a great job there. And then obviously when he's been at Station Camp and then coaching against him these last few years has been great.
It's a great rivalry that it's been these last couple of years. I believe you guys played 3 times last season. Of course, that regular season match, the district championship and the region championship. Look back at those games a little bit for me last year and reflections from your team maybe a little bit and what needs to happen this year for either side to pick up a win.
You want to take it, Alex?
Yeah. So last year we had 3 very good games against Station Camp. And, of course, every time we play them, it's a battle. We have to play our best to get a result against them. Last year, the first game ended in a tie. And Station Camp was playing very, very well when the tie happened. The district championship, they outpossessed us. I thought that they played very well. They scored in the first minute of the game, and we were able to capitalize on a chance right after on a corner. And then we had a special night from a very special player, William Becker, had a hat trick. We were able to kind of hang on at the end, and then fast forward to the region final, more of the same. We were able to capitalize on a couple set pieces. We had a free kick that was on a header, and then we had another free kick by Christian Cornell to kind of seal it at the end. But Station Camp obviously had a lot of chances and a lot of the possession of the game, and a lot of times this game just kind of comes down to who makes the most of their chances and who is able to manufacture goals off of some half chances and sometimes a lot of luck as well. So I don't know if it has any. It shouldn't. I don't think it has any factor into Friday's game. Last year was a completely different team for both teams, and this year's a new year, and we know what we're up against in a great team of Station Camp, and again, we're gonna have to just work as hard as possible and play our best game of the year to be competitive with them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We always say this. No, Alex agrees with me too. It doesn't matter what team you have at this point. Like when we play each other, you can throw records out the book. I mean, it's just all about who wants it more. It's really these games are really difficult to judge because we both know each other. The kids know each other. They grow up playing together. Playing club together. So it's not like it's any kind of secret as far as what we do against each other or anything like that. But it's just a matter of who wants to go out there and actually win it and take advantage of the chances when they get them.
Wanted to take a dive into both of your rosters here because there are some interesting characters, I think, on both sides. Coach Cook, I got to catch up with your team for the first time last Friday. And when I asked to talk with Ethan McNamee, scored 2 goals in that game against Gallatin, you said you might not be able to understand him too well because he's got that thick Irish accent. I thought you were kidding. I just walked into a junior soccer player that had transferred 8 months ago from Northern Ireland. Talk about some of the interesting aspects that comes with dealing with a player that's come from a completely different country.
Yeah, no, Ethan's a character, man. I love Ethan to death. So the funny thing with that is, like, in Ireland, they graduate at the age of 16. So he's already graduated high school. So when he came over here, he's having to jump into high school now with a totally different aspect and view on things, because now he has to go into something knowing he's already graduated where he's from and redo everything. It kind of resets his whole life, not to mention, culture and everything else. But I think he's figured everything out. I think in the beginning when he first got here, it took him a little bit, but he is starting to get become friends with a lot of guys, and they love him. We all love him, and I think he's doing a great job for us right now.
McNamee joked earlier when I talked to them last Friday that you were his American dad, which was kind of a funny moment there. But Coach Tumman's on your side, dealing with 3 Bertotti brothers there, Bryce, Ryan, and Miles. You joked with me earlier in the year that it felt like their history, their lineage, there is such a family tree of the Bertotti, soccer family that deals with Hendersonville soccer. Coaching those 3 players and getting to know the lineage of the Bertotti family with Hendersonville soccer, what's that been like this year?
Well, first of all 3 of them are just tremendous kids. I mean, they, from Bryce down to Miles, they are great students. Great members of the community, really good, grades, yes sir, no sir, very well mannered. So I'll give a lot of credit to both their parents for raising them, great. They're very coachable. And it's been pretty special this year to see all 3 of them getting to play with each other. I think this is the first time that Bryce has been able to play with Miles. And so it's been pretty cool to see them kind of lean on each other, give each other advice. And then, of course, their whole family is involved as well, from their dad to their uncle to other family members and cousins and things like that. So we've been very lucky at Hendersonville Soccer to have the Bertotti family for as long as we've had in our program. So, again, it's been very special to see that. They're pretty competitive with each other, but at the same time, they look out for each other, and that's what it's all about.
Looking at this Hendersonville team, Coach, very difficult 3-game stretch that you guys have gone through with Siegel, Christian Brothers, and Houston most recently. That's a bit of a gauntlet there, but your team scheduled a tough start of the season too, with Valor College Prep, with Father Ryan, with Baylor. I'm curious what the difference is between those two, where you start the season with 3, I think, state champions, if not runner-ups, and then midway point of the year, you've got 3 really difficult teams like that.
Yeah, I mean, when I sit down to make the schedule, I want it to be as competitive as possible. I knew going into this year we're going to have some inexperience and some younger guys, and I thought it'd be good for us to learn about ourselves and get better and improve. And Station Camp and Jeremy, they did the exact same thing. I think Jeremy can agree. We will play anybody at any time, anywhere, and so. I think it's been beneficial. Obviously, this past week was tough. The results weren't there, but I thought we definitely improved as a team. But we've got our biggest and probably the hardest game, I would say, coming up on Friday, and then we turn around and play at Brentwood on Tuesday. So it doesn't get any easier, but hopefully we can see the payoff in May. And hopefully we've learned some valuable lessons about ourselves. About what it takes to be at that level of these teams that we're playing. And, hopefully it's been a learning experience for all of us.
On the Station Camp side, Coach Tummins mentioned it there. It took time for this Station Camp team to mesh, but it was also a very difficult start to the season for you guys as well. When you have 14 seniors like Station Camp does, how have you seen that leadership kind of gel and mesh a little bit as the season has gone on? I mean, I think that even if 1 or 2 of those senior leaders don't step up, you still have 12 others that you can rely on at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been told you're only as good as your seniors. And I think in the beginning, we're trying to find ourselves, both part with me, with the formation and everything else, and then them with them and their effort and being consistent. But then you kind of lean on these seniors to kind of, get in with the guys. And, obviously the best teams are where the players lead, and they found a way to get through to everybody and kind of get them together. And now, in the beginning when we're actually creating chances but not finishing, we were doing a lot better now. We're creating better chances. We're scoring goals. And it's all a mindset. And it's all started with our senior group because they're doing a fantastic job of keeping everything together. And it's really hard to please all of them, with 14, but they're all doing a great job of understanding their roles and understanding where they fit in and being accepting of that, and then helping all the other younger guys too.
Of course, you guys are focused on going as deep as your teams will allow you to for this season and the postseason as well. But I really wanted to dive into the districts that you guys are going to be dealing with going into next year, starting with Station Camp here. You move out of that Hendersonville Station Camp, Gallatin Beach district, and you go into Greenbrier, White House, Portland, and Macon County next year.
Yeah, we're dropping down to AA. Obviously, with some years ago, Knoxdale got rezoned to beach, and then now they opened up Liberty Creek. Our numbers have slowly gone down from about 1,700 to about 1,050 now. So we dropped down. Obviously, we got a good taste of what White House can do to us this year. They came out there and beat the crap out of us, man. I'll give White House all the credit. They were all over the place, and we deserve what we got in that one. So hopefully our boys know that, that it's not going to be an easy path there. We're going to have to work hard every game in AA also. And thankfully, I know there's a lot of, like Alex and the rest of the coaches in our district now, they're willing to still schedule games with us through next year so we can continue to play those games, because our rivalry, especially with Hendersonville, is always a good one.
Yeah, on the Hendersonville side, you're adding Green Hill and Mount Juliet. Coach Tummins, how much do you know about those two other teams that you're adding into the district?
Well, we played Green Hill this year, and I was very impressed with how they were coached and the work rate of their players. And, they're only going to get better. They're kind of a new school. Mount Juliet, I don't know a lot of, but I know they have a good history of having a good program. And then, of course, Coach Harper does a great job at Gallatin, and Coach Ferguson does a great job at Beach. So, the district is going to be tough for us as it is anybody. It's going to be one of those things. If whoever could be the most consistent with adding an extra team could probably win the district. So I'm looking forward, excited to having maybe some new blood in the district, but at the same time, it's going to have a whole new implication, not only in the district but also in the region. So we're looking forward to it, but again, we're just trying to focus on what's going on this year.
One more for you guys, then I'll let you go. You talked about it there for a second, Coach Cook, the emphasis of wanting to keep this rivalry going, even with you two being out of the district. How important is that for you guys, especially with the level of soccer that both teams are at right now? Oh,
it's utmost importance. I mean, not to mention that, like I said before, these guys grew up together. We always want to play against each other, but it's just good for the community. Even fans, parents, everybody loves to watch these games. If you come to these games, it's a big crowd. So to keep that going is of utmost importance for us.
Coach Tummins, anything to add there?
I mean, yeah, like Jeremy said, Station Camp is always a quality opponent. They're one of our biggest rivals in the sport, and there's community. The soccer in our community would be at a loss if we didn't play, I think. Again, they all play club with each other. They're all friends with each other off the field. And it's just a good thing for the community, for soccer in this area, and for some of the best players in this area to kind of display what they've got, represent their schools and represent their communities and their families in a good way. So Station Camp is always so good. Jeremy does a great job over there with them, and we're looking forward to playing them as many times as we can.
And that most recent matchup, in case you don't know how good Hendersonville and Station Camp can be there this Friday. Big matchup coming up between these two schools. Coaches, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck on Friday.
Appreciate it, Blaine.
Thanks, Blaine.
That was Hendersonville soccer coach Alex Tummins and Station Camp coach Jeremy Cook. Great stuff from both sides. Going to be a great game on Friday. But before we dive into more on that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, our Sumner County storyline. Stay tuned.
Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I thought I could hold my liquor.
We're back on the Sumner County Sports Show, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. It's great stuff from Hendersonville soccer coach Alex Tummins and Station Camp soccer coach Jeremy Cook. Just really great stuff. If you really need to go see that game on Friday. I think it's going to be a great one. It always has been a great one. So I think you're in store for another good one on Friday night. But let's dive into some Sumner County storylines here, starting off with the track and field championships that were taking place last week. Station Camp girls and Beach boys both picked up the championships on the team side. Wesley Luisi, Morgan Page, and Emory Springs won the most valuable athlete awards, with Page and Springs splitting the girls award, Luisi taking the boys one. That's 2 Beach players, 1 Station Camp player, so both of those schools won big at the championships this past week. Springs really impressed me. There's a story on the Hendersonville Standard and Gallatin News website about her. She's a Western Kentucky soccer commitment that really has dominated the track and field, if you will, in the events and the running. She placed second in the 400-meter run and the long jump event, and then she won first in the 100 and 200-meter runs. really battled with Paige on that second day, but for somebody who's just in track and field for fun, she is definitely dominating for Station Camp this year. A little bit of an interesting one here on our second Sumner County storyline. Paul Neighbors, I believe to be a Hendersonville native, inducted into the Rocking Wrestling Federation Hall of Fame last Saturday. He was a longtime referee in professional wrestling, I believe is what you call it. As opposed to mat wrestling, you're talking about Jerry Lawler, Vince McMahon, both of which Neighbors interacted with throughout his time. I believe he spent about 10 plus years reffing. Before that, he was part of a limousine crew with some of the wrestlers in that federation. Did a couple of tours of duty across that area, that region of Evansville, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and I believe just with his long stinted service with the RWF, he received his induction into that Hall of Fame. Not something you hear every day. I was told a couple of days ago that it was the Tennessee Wrestling Hall of Fame, which my presumption was mat wrestling, but actually no, this is, real. I guess if you call it real, someone's going to be upset if I say wrestling is not real. So I'm not going to say that. Let's move on. Portland baseball went and saw Garrett Stubblefield, the ace pitcher who stands at 5'9" for the Panthers the other day. He has won his last 3 starts for Portland, and the Panthers have been red hot as of late. He's one of the mid-state's leaders in ERA. I believe it sits at a 0.60 right now. So there's a story on the Portland Sun, if you want to go look at that, about him being the unsuspecting ace of Portland staff. There's at least one college commitment on Portland's team. It's not Stubblefield, but the junior is really impressing this year. And now Portland has found itself in a position to control its own destiny in District 9 3A. They win their last 2 district games. They are the regular season champion. Last little bit here, Gallatin softball, who I'm going to see today, facing off against Portland, and they have been red hot as of late. Alabama A&M commitment Hannah Gaines has done a great job in the circle and on the mound. She's 6-1, 50 strikeouts, a 4.29 ERA, but batting .455 with 3 home runs, 8 doubles, and 21 RBIs. Really great offense. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago that this team was struggling early on, but they've really found their stride. They're surging right now. That offense has never gone away, but the pitching is starting to find a groove, and if there was a time you wanted to find it, it's now. That's your Sumner County storylines. All 4 of those, pretty interesting stuff happening around the area. We'll take one more break here on the Sumner County Sports Show, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. When we come back, give you some names and some games to watch out for. Stay tuned.
There is nothing better than drinking an ice-cold beverage while taking in a Nashville Sounds baseball game. Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller with Mornings on Main Street. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television have teamed up to promote Sunday Family Fun Day here at First Horizon Park, each Sunday home game. Just go to your favorite Main Street Media website and click on Sounds Main Street Media Day banner to register to win free tickets. And then we'll see you here at the ballpark.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up. lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Last stretch on the Sumner County Sports Show here, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Again, huge thanks to Alex Tummins and Jeremy Cook for joining us today. Dual guest worked out pretty well. I think so. I wasn't sure how it would turn out. You're talking about 3 or 4 people dealing with their separate Wi-Fis at that point, so really glad that everything worked out well, and we got some great insight from both coaches leading up to that game. Hit you with some closing thoughts here. We've got some huge games deciding district champions here in the last few weeks of the regular season. Feels like the spring has flown by here. As I've mentioned, and I don't think I'm going to stop talking about it for the rest of this week, Hendersonville at 5-6-2, hosting Station Camp at 9-4-1, could decide the district champion. It's only, if I'm not mistaken, I know for Station Camp it is their second district game. For 9 AAA. For Hendersonville, they've beaten Beach, but I don't think they've played Gallatin in that district yet. So it's a small district right now, of course, with Hendersonville, Beach, Gallatin, and Station Camp. So you've only got, if I'm not mistaken, 3 games, since not including the school you're a part of course. So second game in a 3-district schedule could really decide the champion here. It's going to be a great one. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there, but our Main Street Preps team will have you covered with photos and a story that you'll be able to check out. I debate Friday night, if not Saturday morning. So right away getting those results and hearing that information. But the other game to watch out for, Commandos, Hendersonville baseball facing off against Station Camp next week, a massive series for District 10-4A positioning, seeding, if you will. Lake Morris, a Belmont commitment, threw a no-hitter for Hendersonville against Hunters Lane this past week. He's been dominant all season, and as Coach Justin Martin mentioned a couple of weeks ago, he's been really impressive on the mound as well. He's been impressive on the mound. He's been impressive at the plate, despite not getting a huge opportunity to hit last year. So that Station Camp series, Station Camp started off really hot, and I think they've kind of found their groove again after struggling in the middle part of the year. But this will decide the district champion, whether it's Station Camp, whether it's Hendersonville, or it's Beach, who's playing McGavock. So if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to do a little bit more research. But if Beach wins out, they should be the champion, at least sharing a share of the championship. Hendersonville, I believe, can lock up at least a share of it by winning out. And then Station Camp can play spoiler a little bit on that side as well. It'll be an interesting series to watch out for. Both of those are going to be great. Really excited to see those. There's always something interesting happening out here in Sumner County, whether it's 3 brothers from Hendersonville all playing together and having a long lineage of their history, or an Irishman walking up to you for the first time and talking about how he came to the country 8 months ago. That does it for the Sumner County Sports Show this week. Just great stuff coming up around the county. Be sure to stay tuned for next week, where we'll wrap you up and give you ideas on how everything's looking in the postseason. We'll talk soon. See ya.